Hello and welcome once again to Community Storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler, and do we have a story to share today? I'm not sure where this is going to end up or even how it's going to start, but I'm going to introduce you to Bruce Ingle. You may know him, retired firefighter. This is what a retired firefighter looks like after 39 years. You were with Los Gatos Fire Department for 39 years.
Yeah, well, I worked in Los Gatos. I worked for Santa Clara County Fire, which is the,
That's right.
the agency here for town.
Explain how that works. I always get mixed up. It's not really called Los Gatos Fire, is it?
Well, we call it that. And I work at the Los Gatos. I worked there at the Los Gatos station, which, you know, is the second one. The original firehouse was on Main Street, and then I worked the university station since '78.
Is there just one fire station?
No, then we have, well, so back up until 1970, Los Gatos had its own fire department.
Okay.
And it, you know, for monetary reasons, it was more economical to come in with the county fire, which was the overall service back in the days when, you know, the towns were small and most of the county area was unprotected. So after World War II, they formed consolidated some fire districts and had the county fire, which provided fire protection for all the unincorporated areas or areas that weren't cities. And then a lot of the cities figured it was better to come in with the county,
right?
You know, in a bigger department. And Los Gatos did that in 1970.
So when you were a little kid, did you say, I'm going to be a firefighter? A fireman, I guess you would say.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I grew up across the street from a firehouse in Mountain View.
So you never wanted to be anything else?
No.
Was it easier to become a fireman back there? And now we have to say firefighter because I know in Los Gatos, because I've met her, you have at least one fire lady.
And we have lots of female firefighters.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, then I was just lucky enough to meet one.
Yeah.
And I said, whoa, with the long hair, and boy, she looked great in her uniform. Not that you guys don't either.
I think women on the fire department, the best thing that ever happened.
Thank you for saying that, because you were right.
Oh, yeah.
Because who has more empathy than a woman, first off?
No.
Well,
we all know we can all do the job. Right? Whoever can do the job.
Yes.
And women do it better. There's still obstacles to overcome, even at this day and age. It's still probably a little more difficult for a woman. But you look at what they do, and you know,
I don't know. I wish
kind of put the guys to shame.
I wish I could remember her name, because she was obviously in charge. Let me tell you, she was in charge.
That's why guys are just intimidated by all this. I think that's what they.
So you wanted to be a fireman when you were a kid, and was it? Did I ask you the question? Was it? I'm just taken because I can't even believe you were a firefighter for 39 years because you don't look old enough.
Well,
but
thanks.
Was it harder to be one then or now?
You know, you always considered it hard, but I think, you know, it's just a sheer number of people that it's such a good job.
Yes.
And, you know, I think back in my time, I thought it was tough and everything like that. It's probably 10 times harder now, you know. I mean, it just, what you got to go through to actually get there. You know, you got to be persistent and stick with it. And
it's so hard.
It is. Well, it's a numbers thing.
Exactly.
Right.
It is, exactly.
You've heard the thing all over the years, you know, about whether, you know, equal opportunity, you know, whatever. And it just gets down to numbers, you know. It's just not enough jobs for the amount of people that want to have a fire department job.
And when you retire, I'm 39 years, because I think police officers get to retire at an earlier age than you do.
Well, I could have retired 9 years earlier.
Didn't want to give it up, huh?
It was several things.
And when you retired, you get to take your uniform, and what do they give you when you retire?
Well, don't tell them this, but I haven't given anything back yet.
Well,
I wonder
you
if they just let
shouldn't.
me.
After 39 years, you don't have to give them anything back.
Yeah, but you know, I don't really fit in it anymore either. So
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And do you still have the poles? Because I heard they were getting rid of the poles because they're dangerous.
Well, the only stations that have a pole were stations that have 2 stories. That was the quick way to get from usually what was like the living quarters or the dorms down into the app room. So we have, you know, a couple of stations that have poles. You know, there's one of the stations has slides, you know, and there's still nothing. They still haven't figured out a way for guys not to get hurt. You know, guys get hurt on the slide, they get hurt on the poles. You know, here in Los Gatos, they're all single-story stations. So.
Yeah. So I'm thinking 39 years. When did you become a paramedic? Or was that always?
No, in the county. So the county basically started providing paramedic service probably, I want to say either 1980 or 81. And was with the private ambulance service. So they were the paramedics, so they had, you know, AMR, medevac. It's been a series of different things. And they were the ones that the fire department would still arrive on scene, but our training was limited at the time. And then you'd wait for the medics to get there, and then they would do, you know, their what I would believe like, kind of like magic, whatever. And then they would transport the patient to the hospital. And so the argument was the fire department, the medics covered such a much larger area, so their response time was longer. So it made more sense to have a paramedic firefighter and put that on scene until the transport medics got there, and then everybody worked together. So probably the mid '90s is when most of the fire departments here in the county went what they call ALS, or advanced life support, and put a medic on every rig, and every call that was a medical call, you could put a medic on scene and start treatment right away.
Now, when you call 911, and we all know when you call 911, you're not calling 911 in Los Gatos.
Right.
You're calling 911, which I believe is the CHP dispatch center in Vallejo.
Well,
or something like that.
I go back in the days before cell phones and stuff like that. So the cell phones go to the CHP thing.
Yes.
And they have that all worked out now, to where it's all networked. It's not like it was in the old days where somebody in Concord had to figure out what was going on in Gilroy or whatever like that. So
you call 911, and you probably do call with your cell phone.
Right. Well, so
and do they decide? Do I send the firefighter? Do I send paramedics?
Right. So that's why it's set up that way. I mean, a lot of people wanted the number to the fire station because they had an emergency or something like that. And always the argument was like there might not be anybody at the fire station. We might be on a call or something like that. So the county has the Santa Clara County Communications, which is up on the hill.
Yes.
Up there, and they do the majority of dispatching for a lot of the area and everything like that. And they, prioritize the call, and they can figure out, depending on what information they get and what comes to them, that they can get the right resource responding the quickest.
Right.
And they'll decide if it's a police issue, a fire department issue, medical aid, whatever the emergency. Yeah.
And let's hope the right one comes the quickest.
Well, somebody will come.
Somebody will come.
They send the fire department to everything.
Yes.
The fire department goes to everything, because it's like, if you can't figure it out, send the fire department, and at least they'll figure out who to call after that.
So I'm thinking 39 years, how many lives do you think you've saved?
A few.
I think more than a few. Yeah, you've never really sat down to think about it?
Well, you think about it.
Yeah, and I bet there have been some tough calls along the way. I'm not gonna get you to share, am I? I mean, there have got to be some. I mean, were there times when you called your wife in tears?
About calls?
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. Did you call her in tears and say, "Oh my God, you know what I had to eat tonight"?
That'd probably be more like it at the fire station.
But I bet I've been.
It was an amazing opportunity to, for one, to have that job.
Yes.
And to be able to do the things they trained you to do.
You've made a difference.
You
are very, very modest. I got to bring this out. You have made such a difference in so many lives, in so many families. I mean, families have called you and you've saved the day.
Well, hopefully.
Well, you have. Yeah. And now then you see these wildfires that we've just been having, and October is such a horrible, devastating month. Do you ever say to yourself, I wish I had my uniform? Well, you do have your uniform. I wish I was working right now.
Yeah, well, like I say, I've only been retired a short time. So I watch it, and everything's kind of in a different context now.
I bet.
So, definitely like the guys that are, everybody that's there now is, I can't even imagine what that was like. And kind of the age I'm at, and no doubt about it.
Heroes, just like you. And so now I guess, what you can do is help rebuild.
Yeah, do something. I mean, there's going to be lots to do after this, as you can imagine. It was one thing mitigating the, what was going on right then, but there's going to be years of stuff going on.
Years and years.
So you kind of figure out, well, man, maybe you could plug me in someplace,
So you live in Los Gatos. Mm-hmm. Did you always live in Los Gatos?
No, I came out here when I started working out here and stuff like that, but I grew up in Mountain View.
Did you?
Yeah.
And there's no rule. I don't think there's any rule in any city, is there, that you have to live in the city you work in?
Not that I'm around here or everything like that, but that's one of the reasons the fire department has a schedule. Only you're 24 or 48 hours on, and then your days off, and you can commute from pretty much wherever you want to.
How'd your family like that?
So I was on the fire department before I met my wife and had a family and everything like that.
Did you meet your wife here in Los Gatos?
Yes.
Local gal,
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, you want to say her name?
Oh, Lori.
Lori.
Yeah.
Okay, well now she's Lori Ingalls. What was her name
Yeah,
before?
Lori Viner.
Okay,
All right, so she's third generation Los Gatos.
third generations, and you got children.
Yeah, so I have a daughter that's, well, she'll be 28 coming up this week. We're going down to LA and see her. She's a animation director at Warner
Wow.
Brothers.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Went to school here, alumni here, Los
Yeah.
Gatos. And my son's 24 and just finished up school in Santa Barbara. And now he's back here. He landed a good job and he's back home with us, which I love. And
No one wanted
working-
no one wanted to be a firefighter.
Nope.
No, how'd that happen? Is your
Maybe I did
wife
the example.
happy?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think, having the fire department job gave me the ability to, you were away from home, on holidays, birthdays. I missed a lot of stuff. But on your days off, I was able to be home and raise my kids, which, a lot of dads don't get to do.
Exactly.
And so we did that. I didn't work on my days off and I stayed home with my kids and we kind of flip-flop back, I had them when, she was
Yeah.
at work and she had them when I was at work.
And did the kids ever put on your uniform?
Oh, yeah.
I bet. I bet. My little grandson's 2.5, and for Halloween he had to be a fireman. And we got this fabulous costume from Pottery Barn that looked just like a firefighter's
Oh, yeah.
costume, and he wears it every day.
Really?
And so I don't know. Maybe he's going to follow in your footsteps,
Well, you see a lot of kids, hopefully.
which is not a bad thing.
No, it's the best.
It sounds like it's the best, and we thank you. I thank you for your 39 years. I'm thanking you for everybody in Los Gatos and Montecito.
It was an honor to work here.
Yeah, well, it was an honor to have you here. I'm speaking for everybody. Now I'm going to start crying. Why am I crying? I don't know what's going on here. What a delightful man. Bruce Ingle, you are the best. Community storytelling. I hope we got a little bit out of him because he was a tough cookie. But what's your story? What's your story? I know you've got one. Go to KCAT.org. You can nominate yourself, nominate your best buddy, nominate a family member. And I always say thank you so much for being with us here at KCAT TV 15.